What is up, my friends, and you are very, very welcome along to tonight's Anfield Agenda, Late Night Agenda News Roundup video. You're probably a bit confused by the title of tonight's video or think I'm absolutely deluded. But either way, hear me out. I'm going to take you through my thoughts over the next few minutes on the news today that Kylian Mbappe wants out of PSG. I'm going to fill you in on all the newspaper stories, going to ask you for your opinion, and I'm going to try and tie this all together with a little Jude Bellingham bow at the end of it. So as always, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section. Do drop a like on the video, and of course, why not join the other 151,000 subscribers here at Anfield Agenda as we continue to try and keep growing our family. Right, look, let's get into it. I did not expect waking up today that I would be sitting here making a video talking about links of Kylian Mbappe to Liverpool Football Club. Now, let's get things straight first. I'm not deluded. I don't believe that Liverpool Football Club are going to go out there and pay the money that it would take to bring Kylian Mbappe with his wages and the signing on fees and all this other stuff to Liverpool. But it is an interesting story because I think we can link this together, as I said, and tie it in a nice Jude Bellingham shaped bow. So look, the story came out today that he wants out of PSG and that PSG are open to selling him to anybody except Florentino Perez and Real Madrid. Now that in itself isn't really a surprise because there was a bit of a ding-dong battle between the two for a signature, and I think Madrid right now are just playing hard to get. I think if Kylian Mbappe really looks publicly to force the issue and get that move to Real Madrid, then I think the Florentino Perez will only be too happy to add Kylian Mbappe to his Galacticos at Real Madrid. Now, how does all this tie in with Liverpool and how is Bellingham involved in it? Well, there's a couple of things here. If we wanted to play fantasy manager for a few minutes time and we wanted to look at a potential way that we could lure Kylian Mbappe to Anfield, how could we go about doing it? Well, there's one way. There's only one way, and that involves a certain Egyptian superstar who recently signed a 350 grand a week contract extension at Liverpool and hasn't really been delivering yet. Now look, I don't want Mo to go. But if you ask me, honestly, hand on heart, Craig, would you swap Kylian Mbappe for Mohamed Salah if the club can figure out the wage end of it? Then I would 100% say yes. And I've said this all along. Mbappe is one of the few players in the world that you would swap your grandmother for. Kylian Mbappe is a future multiple Ballon d'Or winner. But Kylian Mbappe does seem to have a bit of an attitude issue, and that's something that I could never see Jurgen Klopp putting up with at Liverpool. We could probably afford to carry one luxury player. We have Thiago in the midfield at the minute, but if you brought in Kylian Mbappe, that would be your one free roaming player. He doesn't like being played in a 9 apparently at PSG, and he wants to be played in a more free role. Will Jurgen Klopp give him that? I doubt it, but Liverpool's name have been long linked to Kylian Mbappe. I told you guys a couple of years ago a story that when he was moving from Monaco to PSG, before that deal was confirmed, John W. Henry is reported to have flown Kylian Mbappe and his representatives or family members around France on his private jet for a while to try and convince him to move to Liverpool Football Club. Now, obviously, we all know that didn't happen. He stayed at PSG. They kept reversing truckloads of cash up to his house until he said yes. That's kind of how that went. Now, for me, would I do the swap? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? No. Doesn't mean I don't love Mo. Absolutely do. But I do want to pitch something to you that I do like the idea of, and that is, if Kylian Mbappe goes to Real Madrid, I genuinely don't see any way with FFP or even with finances that Real Madrid could afford Kylian Mbappe and to make a play for Jude Bellingham. So if Kylian Mbappe is available to be sold, I would probably be quite happy if he ended up at Real Madrid because it would give us more of a free run at Jude Bellingham. Now, of course, there is the elephant in the room that we haven't yet spoken about, which is Manchester City. They've made no secret, publicly and privately, of their desire to link up Jude Bellingham with Erling Haaland. But, as I've said to you for a very long time, Liverpool have been doing the hard yards on this deal for Jude Bellingham for quite some time, convincing him of their vision, their plan, how they'd utilise him at the club. But that still remains for FSG to go out there and actually pony up some dough, and none of us believe that they're going to pony up the amount needed if there's a real battle for a signature. I don't think wages, interestingly enough, around Jude Bellingham would be an issue, because I think he'd be on fairly realistic wages. What is realistic wages these days? Your guess is as good as mine, but I'd say we could afford his wages. We couldn't offer him the same as Manchester City and maybe some other clubs, but I think we could definitely get him into the club with enough to keep him happy for the time being. Now, what's all this got to do with the transfer window in January? Well, it seems like they aren't willing to sell in January, PSG. At least publicly, that's what they're saying. But I want to know a couple of things, folks. I want to know, do you want Kylian Mbappe at Liverpool? Or, like our Discord group, which we've been talking in all day, a lot of people are like, look, he's a great footballer, no doubt about that. He's got the world at his feet, but he's a diva. And one thing we need at Liverpool Football Club is hungry players who are willing to fight for the cause. That's how Jurgen Klopp built this group of players. That's how we built our identity. And I don't think Kylian Mbappe would fit that identity. And I find it very hard to square off in my head a way that Jurgen Klopp would be able to acclimatise Mbappe into the squad without putting a few noses at a joint, or without people questioning, has Jurgen Klopp's decision making changed, or has his standards dropped a little bit with regards to what he expects from the players, and not from a footballing perspective, of course, but from a human perspective, I suppose. Because look, we don't do divas at Liverpool Football Club. I wonder though, just thinking out loud here for a second, I wonder will we see Todd Bowley and Chelsea throw their hat in the ring for Kylian Mbappe, because we know he was interested in bringing Cristiano Ronaldo to Chelsea. I don't know if that was what caused the disagreement between himself and Thomas Tuchel, but I think maybe Graham Potter wouldn't mind working with Kylian Mbappe there. But the name Liverpool, whatever article you read today, whether it's Marca, who are of course a Real Madrid mouthpiece, or any other article doing the rounds, they've all thrown Liverpool as the only other club who've really shown serious interest in Kylian Mbappe. So look, we can all dream, but I do think a couple of things. I would do the swap for Salah if it was on the table. And yes, I understand the difference between Salah's valuation and Salah's wages and Kylian Mbappe's are a lot. But enter LeBron James from stage left, enter Nike from stage left. You just never know in this mad football world of ours. I wouldn't put your money on it happening though. That's me being honest about it. But what I want to know is, do you think this is Real Madrid playing hard to get with Kylian Mbappe? Do you think that if they got Kylian Mbappe, it would give us more of a free run at Jude Bellingham? And how do you think this whole situation ends up? Because look, we'd love to play Fantasy Football Manager. We'd love to talk about Mbappe at LFC. And I'm sure that there will be people out there trying to really say that we're in with a shout to sign him. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm quite frankly furious at FSG for the situation we find ourselves in with regards to our playing squad. And if you add into that a little bit of breaking news today, that Trent Alexander-Arnold and Joel Matip are both going to be out of action for a couple of weeks, adding into, of course, Luis Diaz. News yesterday that he's going to be out of action until after the World Cup. The injuries are starting to mount up again. So whatever happens, I expect, and we need Liverpool to go into the January market and bring at least a midfielder, maybe two midfielders into the squad, because make no bones about it, we are fighting for a Champions League place next season. It is by no means a foregone conclusion. So look, it's been an enjoyable one to talk about Jude Bellingham, to talk about Mohamed Salah, and to talk about Kylian Mbappe in one video. But again, two questions I want to put to you guys. Would you swap Salah for Mbappe? And do you think if Mbappe does go to Real Madrid that will give us more of a free run at Jude Bellingham? As always, my friend, it's a pleasure to be here chatting with you. I will see you hopefully tomorrow, 7 p.m. start for the watch along of Liverpool's trip to Ibrox to take on Rangers. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon. Much love.